This coin could be worth more than your entire retirement. It could be sitting in your pocket right now, hiding in a jar on your kitchen counter, buried in a box of old keepsakes from your grandparents, and you would walk past it without a second glance. Yet one version of this single penny has shocked collectors across America, worth $25,000 or more. And the most unbelievable part is that it looks almost identical to the 1-cent coins people still spend every single day. It's a 1941 D. Lincoln wheat penny, a coin born in a world on the edge of war, when America was just beginning to feel the tension that would soon change history forever. A coin that passed through the hands of factory workers, soldiers, train conductors, and schoolchildren buying candy for a nickel. And today, it might be sitting in your change. Picture this. A man cleaning out his late father's garage in Colorado finds an old glass jar filled with pennies. Dust covers the lid. The coins inside haven't seen daylight in decades. He almost donates them to a Coinstar machine. Almost. A waitress in Illinois gets a handful of copper cents as a tip and tosses them into her apron pocket. Later that night, one of them catches the light, darker, older, different. A teenager in Georgia opens a roll of pennies from the bank just hopping to find something old. And there it is, wheat stalks on the back instead of the Lincoln Memorial. None of them know yet that they're holding a piece of history that, under the right conditions, could be worth thousands. Because the 1941 D wheat penny is a master of disguise. At first glance, it looks simple. Abraham Lincoln's profile on the front, calm and familiar, the word liberty to the left, the date to the right. And beneath that date, a tiny letter. D. That single mint mark tells you the coin was struck at the Denver facility of the United States Mint, high in the Rocky Mountains, where millions of coins were produced as America prepared for uncertain times. Flip the coin over and you see the wheat ears, two elegant stalks framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. Those wheat lines are more than decoration. They are your first clue, because their sharpness or their softness tells the story of the coin's life. A heavily worn coin has wheat lines that are almost smooth, blended into the field from decades of use. But a high-grade example, the kind collectors dream about, still shows every ridge, every tiny grain, every original detail as if it just left the mint. And that's where the value begins to separate. Most 1941 D pennies are worth only a few cents. But the moment you find one with blazing original luster, that fiery, cartwheel glow that spins across the surface when you tilt it under a light, everything changes. Because now you're not holding a coin. You're holding time that never got touched. And time like that is rare. But condition is only one part of the story. There's something else. Something that turns an ordinary 1941 D into a headline. Mint errors. Dramatic, beautiful, impossible to fake accidents that happened in the fraction of a second when the dies came together and struck the metal. A collector in Texas once noticed a 1941 D where the letters in God W.E. Trust looked like they were echoing. Not blurry. Not damaged. Doubled. True hub doubling. Every line split into two. That coin, found in a group of wheat cents bought for almost nothing, became the centerpiece of his collection. Another discovery surfaced with an off-center strike. The design shifted so far to one side that a crescent of blank copper framed Lincoln's face. It looked wrong. It looked broken. It sold for more than most people's monthly paycheck. And then there are the coins struck on the wrong planchet, the ones with clipped edges, the ones with lamination errors where the metal itself peels like a frozen wave. Each one is a moment in the minting process that went off script. Each one is unique. Earlier, I told you this coin could be worth more than your retirement. Now you're starting to see why. Because when a 1941 D wheat penny survives in near-perfect condition, with full red color, untouched surfaces, razor-sharp details, and then gets authenticated and graded at the highest levels, the auction room changes. Bidding doesn't creep. It jumps. Collectors who have waited years for a top pop example recognize it instantly. The room goes quiet. Numbers climb. 5,000, 10,000, 15,000. And when the hammer finally falls, a coin that once bought a loaf of bread in 1941 becomes a five-figure treasure. One of the finest known examples sold for a price that stunned even seasoned collectors, pushing past the $20,000 mark, because it was simply better than almost anything else that existed for that date and mint. That's the power of perfection. But here's the part that keeps this story alive. These coins were never recalled. They were never removed from circulation. They kept moving through America for decades. Through the 1950s, the 1970s, the 1990s, into the modern era. They were saved in piggy banks, forgotten in drawers, mixed into coffee cans, inherited by families who had no idea what they had. And even today, people are still pulling wheat pennies out of circulation, still finding them in bank rolls, still discovering them in old collections. Which means the next great 1941D, the next red gem, the next dramatic error, the next double die has not been found yet. It could be in a roll from your local bank. It could be in the change from a grocery store. It could be in that jar you've been meaning to cash in. So the next time you see a penny with wheat stalks on the back, don't just smile at it and move on. Turn it over. Look for the date. Find that tiny D. Tilt it under the light and watch for that spinning luster. Study the letters for doubling. Check the edges for something that shouldn't be there. Because the difference between 1 cent and $25,000 is often nothing more than knowledge and a moment of attention. And somewhere right now in America, someone is about to find one.